Hey, my name is Eric Frazier Sr. I was born June 11th, 1970. I moved here to Wilmington in August of 1998. Originally from New York City. I went back to New York in 2001. I came back to Delaware in 2003. And I've been here ever since.
And what drew you to Delaware?
My girlfriend, I met a girl who was from Delaware, and when I first met her, I was commuting back and forth from New York, and we had a son who was born May 16th of 1998, and that prompted, she didn't want to move to New York, so I was prompted to move here. That's why I moved here.
And what? Well, first back up a little bit and tell us a little bit about your what it was like going to school, what kind of subjects you liked, what do you enjoy? If you had a perfect day, what would it be?
Being in a music studio, producing music, being part of the whole music scene, making music, promoting music, sponsoring acts. My forte has always been in the music industry. I'm an avid lover of music. Classical, R&B, hip-hop, rock, pop rock, techno, house, you name it.
And what's your average day like around here?
The average day, I stay in a hotel, largely from the proceeds of the organization that I represent, one step away. I get up in the morning, I'm out the door by about 10 minutes to 7. I get on the bus. I come here, I volunteer my services from 8 to 11, and then 11 o'clock I go on Market Street or sometimes Main Street, and I sell I'm a vendor for One Step Away.
And you've been doing that for how long now?
Since June of last year.
Okay, yeah, that's the paper's a year old now.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow. So what do you see on the streets in Wilmington?
I see, from my end, I see the have-nots, those people who are like me, who are just striving day to day to make ends meet or make a dollar or two. And then I see the haves, those who are prominent figures of Wilmington, working, going back and forth to work and lunch, and it's a disparity. You see the ones who somewhat have, and then you see the ones all the way at the bottom who have little or nothing, basically a backpack or a knapsack on their back.
Do you spend time thinking about that?
A lot.
And where do those thoughts normally lead?
I'm mostly thinking about the next job opportunity, how to get myself out of my current life situation and put myself in a better position for myself, as well as, I have 3 kids, a 21-year-old, 14-year-old, and a 12-year-old. So I'm constantly thinking of ways to better myself so that I can be a good father to them, be a role model to them one day.
Wow. Where do they live?
My 21-year-old just graduated from Lincoln University in Pennsylvania, a degree in journalism. And I have my two younger ones, the 14-year-old son, Junior, Eric Frazier Jr., and I have a daughter, Lisa Renee Joyce Frazier. They both live in Delaware.
Okay. Some would describe the Wilmington community as there's a sense in certain parts of the city where there seems to be almost like a family type atmosphere. Other parts of the city, not so much. What are your thoughts? Do you feel a sense of community on the streets? Do you feel like there's more division?
Well, in the homeless community, there's a sense of family, so to speak, because we're basically all we have. We basically depend on each other from day to day, rather it be for food or advice or just basic support. So the homeless community, basically we all go to we use the same resources, such as this place, Connections, RVRC, the Friendship House, the Sunday Breakfast Mission. So basically we see each other all day. And being that we're in the streets most of the day, we really see each other all day because we have really no other place to go besides the library and a couple of other public places such as this. Other than that, you're basically on the street from 5:30 in the morning till basically 5:30, 6 o'clock at night until the Sunday Breakfast Mission opens up.
So you feel like you develop relationships, friendships,
Oh yeah, yeah.
In the community.
More so to speak, camaraderie, so to speak.
How many homeless people would you say there are in Wilmington?
I would say, in Wilmington alone, I would say hundreds, hundreds.
Any thoughts on what could be done to address that? Is that just a matter of finding affordable housing? Is there counseling needed? What are your thoughts?
I think it's more or less basically three or fourfold, two or threefold. Counseling for those with drug addiction, mental issues. Then there's offering jobs for those who really want to work, because most of us want to work. Just a lot of times the opportunities are not really there, be it a past criminal record, drug usage, or some of the other issues that before homeless people. Then I think the other issue is housing. A lot of people don't want to live in a Sunday breakfast mission or places to that effect, because it's not I wouldn't say humiliating, but it makes you feel less than when you have to be told when to eat, when to shower, when to go to sleep, when to wake up. You know, when most people are still asleep, those who stay in a mission are getting up 4:30 in the morning, on the weekends included. So that sort of feeling gives us a feeling of despair. So if we had places, opportunities where we could have like somewhat of a stable housing environment, that would put more people in a better sense of a better frame of mind dealing with the homeless situation, as opposed to just being cast out in the public all day and basically you're out no matter what the elements are, whether it's raining or snow or hot, such as it's been. You know, so I think, you know, counseling, job offerings, and housing is the three basic things that most homeless people need in order to get on the right track to being productive citizens.
Do you see opportunities for the community to come together and make those things happen? I'm not looking at necessarily a government program or something, but a true community effort, something that anybody could start up and offer up that might help in any of these areas.
I think it needs to be done more from the government. Back in the day, it used to be more church-based, would come around and kind of support the community. Now it's basically everybody for themselves. I think it needs to be from the government level, where they take it upon themselves to form some sort of initiatives to actually take people through the steps from homelessness to being productive citizens. You know, I think that's needed. I see some of the church community and people in that effect. They do what they can by supplying food or handing out clothing, but I think it's broader than that. I think that it needs to be some sort of money set aside, significant money set aside, to help those who really want to help themselves.
Now, let's get back to the newspaper. Tell us a little bit about One Step Away and what your experience has been with it, and how many people you see kind of involved, and you know what's. It seems to me like there's a real sense of entrepreneurship happening in that area. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, One Step Away has given me an opportunity myself to interact with the community in a more broad fashion. I've always been a speaker, a charmer. I've always known how to interact with people by using my verbiage, my voice. So One Step Away has given me an opportunity to utilize those skills that I already knew I had, which I wasn't using to benefit myself. Now I go out there and I speak to people, and most people say, "You're so articulate, you should be in a PR somewhere, or public relations, or to that effect." And it gives people opportunity to see that we at One Step Away, as vendors, are people just like everybody else. We're articulate, we're smart, we're opinionated, and we know how to present ourselves to the public. A lot of the enigma concerning homelessness is that a lot of us are drug users, drug addicts, very low education, and really don't know how to interact with the public in general. You know, the most public just wants to just put us under the rug and just forget about us, and just heard but not seen. And then One Step Away gives us an opportunity to interact with the public, to show the public that, yeah, we are people who have made mistakes or by circumstance we find ourselves homeless. And this gives us an opportunity to put, one step away gives us an opportunity to put being a vendor on our resume. And it gives the people the opportunity to be exposed to what it's like to have just a moment to see what the homeless community is doing via the paper. So I think that it's giving us a voice, giving us a well-needed voice in the homeless community. And it also gives us an opportunity where doors of employment have been closed for us to do something to help ourselves, as opposed to just feeling sorry for ourselves and holding our hands out and expecting for people to give us handouts.
How many regular vendors are there for One Step Away?
Well, in my capacity here as one of the volunteer distributor, I would say on any given day, I probably see around anywhere from 5 to 10 people a day or more. Really in that range, maybe 5 to 10 people on an average day.
And my understanding of the program is basically your first batch of papers you get for free, and then you have to start purchasing from there, and then use the profits to continue that supply chain. Do you find that people are starting to see entrepreneurial opportunities come out of that, or is that does that system seem to be working for everybody?
I think most of us who have that entrepreneurial spirit look at it as an opportunity to use it as a jump start to venture off into other areas, such as maybe working as a spokesperson or public relations PR for some of the agencies that deal with the homeless or other entities. For some, it's just a quick way to earn a dollar to basically survive or eat, buy clothing, cigarettes, and I think a lot of people use it because a lot of doors of employment have been closed, whether it be because of past drug history or criminal records. A lot of doors of employment, especially when you go online, they never see who you are, and a lot of times the doors of employment are closed. This gives us an opportunity to do something with ourselves and to show people that we are people who are trying to do something to better ourselves. I think if more companies or more corporations will give people such as myself an opportunity at the grassroots level, entry level positions to show and prove what we can do, we wouldn't have to resort to standing on the corner all day or feeling sorry for ourselves. A lot of times that leads to drug usage because you feel helpless. You feel like, well, I put in 50 resumes and, I might not get no callbacks, or if I get a callback, they may say, well, you're not qualified for the position, or the position has been filled. I think something needs to be done to take mainly people, homeless people, people who have suffered from addiction, people who have been incarcerated, the opportunity, no matter what their record was, no matter what their background was, to be a viable part of the solution as opposed to being a detriment to society. Give us the opportunity to work on a basis where, okay, a probationary basis, 60 days, 90 days, 30 days, whatever it be, to show what we're made of. And I'm quite sure if a lot of corporations or employment sites took the opportunity to do so, they would see that there are a lot of gems in the homeless community that are not being utilized because of whatever reason.
Where can you envision both yourself and the city of Wilmington being in 5 years?
I see myself, sooner than 5 years, moving on to stable employment, stable housing, reconnecting with my family. I think the city in itself I think Wilmington, Delaware, as they say, it's a place to be somebody. I think it's a great place in which to raise a family. But I think in terms of myself, I need help from those who have the resources to help people such as myself. Not give me a handout, but give me the opportunity to utilize the skills in which I have to show people that, I'm just as good as the next person who might have not, been before with some of the things that I've done, such as drug addiction, making bad life decisions. And I see myself in 5 years as being a viable part of the community in a positive way. Because after being homeless for myself, I've been homeless off and on now for about 10 years, nine years. And after a point, it just becomes, it gets old. So, for lack of a better word, it gets old. You see the same people, you do the same thing year after year, year after year after year. You can leave this community and come back after a year or two, and the same people are doing the same thing. The same places are still intact, and it's like you've never left. So, it gets tiring after a while. For those of us who've been in this homeless situation for a while, after a while, you just, as they say, you get tired of being sick and tired, and you eventually just want better for yourself, because you get tired of feeling helpless, which is the point I came at before I started working for One Step Away. I felt like, well, what do I do now? And then this organization gave me the opportunity to realize that I can be somewhat of an entrepreneur, so to speak, and basically provide for myself without having the overhead of an employee who tells me I have to come in, let's say 6 in the morning, or you can only take a half-hour lunch break, those sort of things. Whereas now, I basically pick the hours I want to work. I can work as long as I want to work. I can eat when I want to eat. And it gives me a feeling of, I basically steer the ship, basically. And that gives me a feeling of empowerment, which I think a lot of homeless people who are in my situation want, a sense of empowerment, a sense of belonging and feeling as if they're part of the community, as opposed to being a scourge of society, where society doesn't want to see nor hear us because we don't provide the valuable tax revenues that the state gets from people who so-called are working in higher level positions or what have you.
Either of you have anything to ask?
Are you staying at the Sunday Breakfast Mission?
I have stayed at the Sunday Breakfast Mission more now, being that I work with One Step Away. I pretty much fend for myself on a daily basis. But when I have to utilize the Sunday Breakfast Mission, which is maybe once or twice a month, or about that, once or twice a month I utilize it. A lot of times I stay with friends, family friends. If I have the means in which to pay for a hotel room, I do that. It allows me the opportunity to feel normal, watch TV, take a decent shower by myself, eat what I want to eat, and basically wake up when I want to wake up, as long as it's not past the hotel's checkout time. Yeah.
What led to your homelessness?
Drug addiction, family's problems with my ex-wife. She couldn't, deal with or understand, what drug addiction does to you in terms of your temperament and your mentality. It basically, stifles your will to want to progress. And someone who's not a drug addict, it's very hard on them. It's very hard for them to deal with that. Be accepted, I should say.
You're out on the streets. Do you feel safe out there? Do you ever encounter threatening situations?
I wouldn't say I feel safe. I feel comfortable. I've learned the streets. I know the streets. I know who's in the streets. Most of the people that are in the streets who might offer a threat are people who I basically live with, I eat with, I see them on a daily basis. And as I said, we've basically formed a camaraderie ship where we know each other. We basically depend on each other for daily survival. So I feel safe more with the homeless community than I do, let's say, around the police, who sometimes might not harass, but they look at us as a threat, so we look at them as a threat.
Have any questions? Wow. This has been great, and I always end with just, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I just like to, I guess I would just like to tell people that no matter who the president is, whether it's Obama or Romney or anybody else, it's not up to them to change your situation. It's up to you or myself to change my situation, because I was basically the same way I am now when Bush was president. Now that Obama's president, it hasn't changed my financial or economic status in life. So I don't look at who's in office to better my situation. I look at what I do to better my situation. I know it's up to me to make a difference in my life. If I depend on the government or the president or anybody else to better my life circumstance. My life circumstance might not get any better. It's what I do and the decisions that I make